Hi everyone. So welcome to our channel. So today I'm going to discuss about one of the new model that is present lease accounting. So the topic is how to create lease contract for any of the contracts in lease accounting application. So before we're going to start creating lease contract, so these are the prerequisite setups are enabled in the application without fail. So without having these setups, we couldn't able to create lease contract. Okay, and the first thing is system options and create expense template. Ideally, there are two type of templates are there: expenses and payments. Discount rate index, asset type, asset number, default GL strings or code combination. Okay, so and what are the ESF jobs are needed in order to create lease contract? After creating this contract, we need to create invoice and accounts payable application for the lease contract. By the time we should run this job. And also, when you create invoice and accounts payable application for lease contract, the invoice number will be always prefixed with FLA. FLA nothing stands for fees and lease accounting. So integrated model payables. So once the invoice is created in application, AP application, so the user can directly go and review the invoice at user interface level or front end. And we can validate the invoice and run the PPR batch to release the payment. This is the normal process which you used to follow in accounts payable application. So now get into application to understand what are the setups are needs to enable. So once you log into as a lease accountant or as a functional consultant to enabling setups. Go to setup under maintenance. Select financials. Functional area is lease accounting. Scroll down till end. Lease accounting. Select all tasks. Manage lease accounting configuration. So here there are no much configurations are needed in lease accounting application. The main setup is this is the one lease accounting configuration. Click on that. So this is the page where we can see all the required information about the lease accounting configuration. So if you want to search any of the existing configuration which is already been enabled for the respective business unit, you can go and click on search with the business unit level. So it will display the which of the things are already available. So here if you see system options, these are the things which already explained about that, right? So here select system options and search with the business unit as a ES1 business unit. Search here. If you want to create new things, you can go and click on plus symbol and then you can create. Okay, since already we have here the existing one, I'm going to use the same. So here if you see business unit, ledger name and primary accounting standard. So lease account is a different accounting standards are maintained as per the US country regulatories. Okay, ASC 842 and another one is IFSR 16. So that is the two standard accounting methods they are using for the maintain their accounting transactions or accounting entries. So here, if you understand rightly here, business unit. So we are going to create all the setups and configuration points in the under the business unit. And whenever we are going to create lease contract and generate the accounting entries, that accounting entries are flowing into the respective ledger, which is associated with your business units. And this is the accounting standards. So that is how we can easy to understand this particular three configuration parts here. So click on hyperlink on the business unit. So this is the page, it will be holding all the required setups. So in this place, which are the things are mandatory to be enabled? The first thing is business unit here and the primary accounting standards ASC 842 and the secondary accounting standards IFRS 16. And at presently, the Oracle is supporting only one interest calculation method is daily compound interest and auto lease accounting number. So how do you want to generate? Either it is automatic or like, I'm going to say revenue level or expense level or both. So at present, I kept as a none, which is already enabled here. And lease transaction approvals. If you want to, somebody has to approve your lease transactions, then you can enable over here. Otherwise, you can disable it. So for now, I'm going to already enabled it. So I'm going to use the same thing for our testing purpose. And let's see. If you disable it here, it will not be go to your BPM or like workflow to approve the lease contract. So this is the general information which is discussed here. And currency conversion type. Always like we will go for the corporate. And ledger name, which is already we kept over there as a US primary ledger. Secondary ledger, if you want to use, we can use this one. Otherwise, it is not a mandatory field. And here the major thing is amortization calculation frequency. So this is already need to be selected over here. And auto asset numbering. If you say none, then like we can do the manually from the front end when you create your lease contract. Or if you want to like keep that as a both, it will be display automatically. Take the asset numbers and import approval references. There are a couple of things are there which we can discuss sometime later, not required right now. And come down under the expenses lease item master. So all these seeded things we have operations, we are going to use it and a payable integration. So if you want to create invoice for the lease contracts, so that like we can enable this particular checkbox as a yes. If you disable it, you should not be able to import AP invoices from the lease contract. And the required property definition, this may not be required now here. And these things you can ignore at present. And a tax, if you are going to use any of the tax related configurations things, that you can be enabled over here. So these are the major things which we can understand here to like to create your lease contract under the business unit for system options. This is the first setup which has to be configured. Save and close and select. Next one is discount rate index. So this is something like which already somebody has created. Click on search. We have three different level of rates already defined as a seeded one. If you want to create new thing, you can go and click on plus symbol and you can create it like this. You need to provide the business unit and index name and when it is be started. I mean to say effective start from date. And we provide the rate over here, which will be calculate the discount for the lease contract. Cancel it here. You can use any of the one thing at the time of create lease contract. And sorry. Next, expense payment template. Click on that and search for template name. So here there are multiple templates already available in the application, which has been created by or like seeded things given by Oracle. You can use the same, or if you want to create new things, there is a plus symbol which is access to create new thing. Click on plus symbol to create new. This is the way. Okay, since we have already existed one which you can use. So I'm going to use for testing purpose any of the one thing here. Let me click on base rent payment template name. Just click on hyperlink. So under the general, you see business unit payment template name, template type, say payment, and activate. I mean to say active, yes, and description base rent. Under the payment details, we can give the required information such as payment purpose, rent, payment type is base rent, payment terms. If you want to give any other monthly basis or like immediately or payment terms, the way how you should use in the accounts payable application. And frequency, payment frequency. Either you want to go for auto like annually, monthly, one time, and quarterly, and like likewise you can semi-annually. So based on this, the system will create a lease frequency to get the payments. And the liability, yes, I'm going to enable here to generate the liability account for this particular template. And right of use. This is something we will discuss when you're going to create our lease contract and generate invoice. So these are the fields are very, very important to enabling at the time of create your expense payment templates. And also if you want to specifically use this template, any of the supplier that you can populate over here. This is something where you can use generally accounts payable application triple P payment process profile, right? Similarly, or you can say PPR templates. The way how we are providing some kind of default information to capture that. Similarly, here also you need to provide certain fields which can be populated automatically at the time of creation lease contract. Scroll down. Yeah, so these are the major things which you can enable at present. Here, gene strings. So without having these things, you should not able to create invoice because so while create or importing invoice from the lease contract, accounting entries are much more important to derive the liability and then distribution accounts as well as. From here, it will display the accounts. So majorly you can see payable clearing accounts and then amortization, reverse, lease liability, right of use, something like that. Payable clearing here with the two different ledgers. Save and close. So this is all about our mandatory setups which needs to be enabled. So go to Excel sheet to see that we covered all of them here. So now try to create one lease contract. So in order to create lease contract, login as a lease accountant, navigator and choose lease accounting model. Under that leases. So these are the tasks can be performed under the lease accounting application. So this is the page where you can search any of the existed lease already got created in the application. So now since we are going to create new thing, click on plus symbol, search with the business unit, which one I want to create. ES1 business unit, lease type, expenses or revenue. A legal entity name. Search with the legal entity name which you want to create. Use one legal entity number we can provide at present 898989. Just testing purpose. So when the lease is going to be started, January 1st to and end date is lease end date. I will be giving as a October 31st. It means that 8 months. And party name I'm giving as a ABC Consulting. But in the real time, you can provide which is as per client requirement. We will be giving over here. Asset type. There are two types of assets are there. One is equipment lease and property lease. You can use property lease and primary accounting classification, finance lease or operating lease are exempt. You can use any of the one thing here, finance lease, and the second also you can use any of the one here. And discount rate index. This is what I told, which is mandatory setup here. Discount rate index. Without having these things, we can't create lease contract. So there are three rates are available. We can select which is the things are needed. Save and close. So after we save the records, so it will be displayed in this fashion of the your lease contract. So now the lease contract are created with the basic information which we provided. So lease name here 898989 version 1. So why it is showing as a version number 1? So there is a possibility where we can like amend your lease again or lease contract. Example, let's say example, if any of the let's say example XYZ person so going for house lease for 1 year, right? So at the time of ending his lease contract with the owner, so before ending 2 or 3 months prior, he will go and discuss with the owner to extend or like ended his contract. If you want to extend it for the next 1 month or 2 months or 1 year, something like that, then like we can go and amend your existed lease account or lease contract. So at that time, when you make some changes under the amendment for the existed lease contract. So when you make it some changes and save the records, the system automatically will display the version number 2. Previously, version number 1, it will be changed as a version number 2. That's how we can use this version tab. Okay, so now you can see here there are multiple tabs are there. Overview, asset, payments, options, rights and obligations, milestones, validations, schedule, attachments, and history. So here, the major thing which you need to give are very significant things are assets and payments. Okay, so now we'll talk about little bit under overview tab. So if, based on inputs, lease name and party name and asset type, property lease. Options, classes. Option that we can discuss sometime later. And if you see here, lease level or asset level. Okay. And see here, payment increase applicable. This is also something like where it will be using for the future purpose to increase your payments. So that time we can enable yes. And terms and conditions. Lease start date and end date. Amortization start date and end date. So this is very, very significant in order to generate your schedules. And yeah, this is something like days or month proportions. Okay, prorations method and discount rate index. So which are we given here? Discount rate 3.25. So here, if you see, there is one checkbox is available, rate adder. So rate adder is nothing but like, if you want to additionally add some percentage on top of which already we given over here, 3.25. Now I want to make, this is something like, 4%. In that case, I can go and add the remaining 75%. I mean, it's 0.75. The system will add this 0.75 to your adjusted discount rate. So that is how we can use this particular checkbox. And so assign to whom, right? And yeah, so these are the things are under overview tab and assets. You can create assets for this particular contract. Asset number, we can give something 74, 74. And locations. Locations are very, very important to identify which location we're going to use these things. See, if you don't know what is the location to capture over here, nothing to worry. Just click on Advanced tab and go with the is not blank and click on Search. It will display all the locations which is already been available in the application. Come down, choose whichever you wanted. Either it is save OK and start date and end date. The system automatically will populate these two boxes. Save and close. See here, asset status is drop. Once you run certain jobs, it will become as approved. become as a approved. Okay, and go to next tab is payments. Click on plus symbol. So this is something which already we discussed about configuration point, right? So the payment template is base rent. Here, couple of things also available: camp charges, common area maintenance, right? Documentation fees. So this all which is relevant to your lease contract at the various stages or various different type of contracts when you create the application. So for now, I am choosing base rent and supplier. I will give as ABC Consulting. Site, you can choose from the list of values. Asset number, which already given, take over here 7474, start date and end date. So here the significant point, keep in mind. So generally the people will do some mistakes in this place while you creating a payments. The point is here start date. So the start date will populate automatically based on your lease contract, which already given in the at the time of creation, right? And end date, we have to provide end date manually over here. Okay, if you're not giving end date, then you have to give simultaneously here number of payments. Okay, this is mandatory. If I save like this right away, the system will throw an error. I will show that as well here. It says that how much amount per month you want to calculate as a lease contract. It says that $5,000. And see here, I did not give end date and the number of payments also here, right? So let's see now how the system will throw an error. Save and close. See, you must enter either the number of payments or the end date, but not both. That is the thumb rule. Says that now I'll give October 31st. Save and close. Now we created assets and payments. So when you save the record, the system automatically will populate this information. The DAO says that like line type is recurring, number of payments 10, amount is per month is 5,000, and line start date is 1st January 25 and end is October 31st 25. Okay, first payment will be starts from when? January 1st onwards. So that is how the system will calculate and provide the information over here. So now, so once we created these things, so we don't need to worry about this, all the tabs over here we'll discuss, which is required now. So once we've given these two, go to action tab, validate. So why should we do the validation? So when if you compare with the AP application, when you create invoice, we should do some validations, right? We should run the validation program, or we can do the invoice validation. So when you do validation here, the system will calculate or validate all the fields which we given basic information under the lease contract. Assets, payments, and other configuration parts also, it will get validated properly and then save the records. Okay, so if any errors are available, that errors will be recorded under the validation tab over here. So by looking at your error message, we would be able to understand it and fix the issue. Click on validate. See, the lease was validated. It means that we did everything is correct. Say OK. Go to click on validation. If any errors are there, it will populate over here. There are details and severity like this. And again, go to action, generate schedules. So before that, I'll show here the schedules over here. So since there is no data is available under the schedule tab, search for amortization summary or payment schedules, right? So now when I go and run the generate schedules, the system automatically will populate the schedules for the each month based on our lease start date and end date. Generate schedules. See, now we understand in the down, the system automatically calculate the all the respective details here and given. Save OK and scroll down. So here the system, the way how they designed solution for to calculate opening opening liability and payment amount, interest expenses, closing liability, adjustment amounts, and opening right of use, amortization, lease expenses. These all things like the system would take a place and derive the this required information based on the inputs. So here if you see accounting standards, which already we discussed, ASC 842 and IFRS 16. So now, so this is how we can see the schedules. Okay. So once you look at the schedules, if you see here, we at the time of creation we have given per month 5,000, right? 5,000, and this is the opening liability amount, and the interest is calculated automatically based on the rate. And here, if you see amortization out of 5,000, so 4,940.91 paise, and here if you see $120.80 is the interest expenses which is system calculated. So now submit for approval. If so, this is what I told you in the setup. If you want to enable at the time of creation of the template, you can enable it or you can disable it. Already, since it is got like enabled, the system is asking for you to submit for approvals. Submit for approval, and now it went to your approver to approve it. Click on done. So wait for some time. The system would send the notification to your approver to approve the lease contract. So after approve, we will see that what are the changes will be available on the lease contract. Show all created by me. So if you see here, this is the one which already we created now, right? So assigned to Christina Ria, right? So now what I would do, log in with the approver, Christina Ria, to approve our lease contract. Christina Ria, sign in. So one notification is there. Click on that, approve it. Just click on lease and see the data. We should make sure as approver, we are the authorized person to approve properly after we done the validation. So looks everything is look fine for you. Then say approve or click on action to perform these things the way how it is working for the other applications also like AP and GL. Approve. Says that okay. Submit. So now the lease got approved from the your approver. Log in as a lease accountant again to look out your lease contract. Sign in. Navigate to lease accounting, leases, search with our lease number 898989. Search. Scroll down, activate. Status is activate. Click on hyperlink. See now, after everything is done, so version status is booked, right? And then status is activate or active. Scroll down, go to schedules. See now, if you look at the right top corner, attach lease detail report. So once we run or once we lease got approved, so this tab will be available. Okay. So attach lease detail report. If you go and click on this particular task, the system would generate a report for you to look at all the details about lease contract. Okay. At present, what we'll do, Come down, go to schedules. See here. Okay, so here there is no any changes. So now what I would do, attach lease detailed reports. So this is the process ID which will run lease process accounting job. Go here, go to navigator, tools, schedule new process or schedule process. So this is the job, right? So this has got succeeded over here. So now go to home page, please search with our lease which we already created 810 search. We'll see that what is the benefit of to run this job. So now if you go and click on schedule. So here you can see that search for, just I'm showing here some information. If you see, this is the payment details to make a payment. And if you see modification summary, if something is available, you can see that amortization details and then summary attachments. So now just go and click on here. Once again, I'll show that the process is not completely done. I think so. So let's see. To display one of the link. Acha, here you can see there is something like error message throwing. So that is the reason the it will be actually created one URL under the Excel sheet, okay, which you can access it. So there is some issues happen. Okay, that's what I again I run the job. Click on done. Go to navigator, schedule process, refresh, succeeded. Go to again, please expenses 898,989. Hyperlink, schedules. See here. So this is how we can see the file name or URL. So this is ending with the Excels. Okay. So attached by whom? The user, lease accountant. Okay. So if you go and export or download this file, so this is the Excel file which got downloaded. So lease detailed report. So this report would helpful to your lease accountant to understand all the lease contract information. So at one shot. So amortization summary and payment details, payment schedules, exempted payment details if it's anything applicable over here for the lease contract. So this is one of the good feature which is given to customers by Oracle. So now go to application here again. So now we done all the jobs which is required at the lease accounting application level. So now next, what is the next setup? I mean, it's the next step. So here we need to import AP invoice. So that is the next one. So for that, what you have to do? Click on done. Under expense lease payments, click on process expense payment lease. Process type is lease payments, business unit. Number we can give 898989. Select period. If you want to any specific one, you can give or is not required. And supplier. So which supplier we're running? ABC Consulting. Since we know that we are giving, otherwise not required. Search. And processing, payment processing. So here, this is very, very important to give approve and export to payables. This is the very important again. Say yes and launch import payables invoice. Say yes. Submit. So this job will create a invoice in our payable application. Say OK. Go to navigator. So this job will automatically trigger import invoice program and execution report as well as schedule process. See here, the first job is completed and triggered. Second job, import payables invoices. It is executing the second report. I mean to say invoice report. So without going to your payable application, either invoice got created or not created. For that, go to process, lease accounting, scroll down, click on text file. So here if you see supplier name and like here lease number, I would say contract lease contract number and approval status approved interface. So it is saying here interfaced. It means that now invoice got created and approved also, right? After approved, it got created. This is the way we can understand either the invoice got created for the lease contract or not without going to your payable application. So now go to application to see that. Click on done. Go to home page. Payables. So we discussed one point. The invoice always create with the prefix as FLA, fees and accounting. Sorry, fees and lease accounting. Click on search. Manage invoice. So prior to that, what we can see under this recent info tile, we will see that 3 incomplete. It means that prior to this class, already I created a couple of things to validate the data. So now it is showing as a 3. Click on info tile to display that. Notice it here. So not paid, accounted status is unaccounted and not validated. And here invoice number always prefix with FLA, phase and lease accounting. So now we can go and click on one thing which is required here. So three, yeah, lease contact number is 8989893002. Click on that. From here onwards, the normal process which you used to follow under the accounts payable application to validate, and if it is applicable, approvals are applicable, then you can send for approvals and then run the PPR batch to release payments. That is our last point or last step. See here, description is starts with invoice for lease number so and so, red, and asset number. Everything will be part of here. That is how it is coming up. Payment number. So location, the way which we given asset location there, right? That is coming under here. Ship to location. And the invoice got generated for the first month of January as 5,000. And show more. Click on account, accounting to see the liability information here. So this is how we can create lease contract and then import invoice to payable application. So this is all about the how to create lease contract, right? So we discussed. To summarize this discussion now, as I know that this is a lengthy discussion, but I would try to cover end-to-end flow of the how to create lease contract and do the validations and run the ESR jobs and import AP invoice for that, right? Yeah, that's all. So next class we'll discuss about to create multiple different kind of expense um lease contracts and revenue contracts and so on. And also keep watching my your videos or YouTube channel to get more information about the lease contract application going further. Thanks for watching my video. Please do subscribe and like and share.